Yeah, my name is Tomi Henttinen. My background is in architecture. Studied architecture and worked as a designing architect for some years, but now for past 20 years, maybe so, I have been more and more involved in all kinds of BIM related things. Since 2009 I've been the chair of buildingSMART Finland, and buildingSMART both in Finland and in international level is an organization that makes standards. So that sort of links me to standardization in big scope. I've been also, through this work, I've been also active in the SEN standardization work, and sitting at the moment in SEN TC 442, which is a standardization group for BIM standards in Europe. And through buildingSMART I've been also participating in international standardization activities. Here in Finland we are mostly doing guidelines and norms, not really sort of standards in that sense, which that we are doing in European level, but of course these are sort of at least de facto standards or working standards that can be used in everyday routines within our sector. The current standards within the BIM or building information modeling, they are more or less structures, so they are carrying the data. So in that sense they work well, and we can sort of identify the components. But as we are moving towards using BIM in operations phase and in maintenance, we need more accurate data. And well, actually that applies also to the construction phase, if you want to make quantity surveys and so on. So you need more accurate data, and for that we need more accurate standards, which means data dictionaries and classifications and such things, sort of, which really make the BIM intellectual in that way. Standardization is a very long-term process, and typically it involves lots of different parties and domains. But I like to call these the current development norms, since we are trying to achieve a sort of usable context in quite limited time, and a sort of fast way to create so-called standards or norms that can be used in everyday projects, and furthermore can be sort of a platform for the future standardization. So we can test and pilot them, have experiences, and then hopefully bring them up also to the international, at least in the SEN level. So that and at the same time we can benefit from these norms, utilizing these norms in our construction processes and also in the maintenance processes. Typically, like before, it was like that all parties developed their own systems. But now we have achieved that, for example, in the construction sector, all the big players, the big construction companies, they are working together. And this is, I think it's rather exceptional in the international level as well, that we can make these kinds of working standards together with competitors, but they have realized that, okay, why should they do that alone? Because they're still using the same consultants, they are using the same services. And so the infrastructure that they are using is pretty much the same, so it benefits them all. And that the same sort of idea goes also to the consulting. We are developing some MEP property set and property standards. And now we are also there's within KIRA-digi we have a sort of a standardization or development for the hospital world, and the hospital in Turku has already agreed that once this is ready, they will share the information and spread it out to other organizations in Finland. So in practical terms, for example, these quantity takeoff property sets for quantity takeoffs, it simplifies the process. It makes better quality for the quantities. Designers who are producing these properties and these values, they have a sort of strict guideline or strict scope, or sort of they know what they should provide. And then on the other hand, on the other side, the construction company or the quantity surveyor knows from which properties or property sets he or she should read the information. So it simplifies and simplifies the process and makes better quality. On the other hand, the standards which are aiming for the maintenance, I think that since most of us have seen the image where the design is 10% and the construction is maybe 100%, and then the operational phase is 1000% or something like that. If we can unify the sort of the data exchange between the design, construction, and operations, I think that the building owners will benefit a lot, since there is a lot of information which is more or less disappearing in these transactional points. We will actually publish the first norms within weeks, so which means 1st of July 2017. These will be sort of first version, let's say, and we are expecting to test them, pilot them, because now they are more or less in a theoretical level. But of course, in order to make them better, we need to try them out in projects. And these will be published in buildingSMART website, buildingsmart.fi, and we hope that we will get some feedback and some experience from the pilots, and then we will improve them in the next coming months and years.